What's that? What's that, everybody? Who's about to show their faces? Who? Who's it gonna be? Hi! Also, Lampe is here. They can hear you. You can say hello.
All right, hello.
Hi. We were muted for a while, so you couldn't hear us.
Also,
we were getting ready.
We thought the music was on a cycle. Apparently, that's not the case. It's good to know the music doesn't.
So whatever song was playing, I don't think is playing anymore. I hope not. We did mute audio on our side, right? But it looks like, according to everything I see on the screen, y'all can probably hear us. Do let us know if you can't.
Is that delay for real?
Kinesthesia says, "Oh, I like Blaze. Yeah, awesome. Is the which delay?
Is this us 5 minutes in the past over here?
Yeah,
That's what they're saying. That delay is going to be hell.
No, it's fine. What are you talking about?
Is that just normal?
That's normal. Jesus. Delay is normal. What are you looking at? You don't need.
I do a lot of stuff.
You don't need to look at that.
I do a lot of stuff in music, and so I was just thinking that would actually be really awful to have to deal with.
I mean, we're not playing. This isn't a band. It's not like the people in the chat are gonna. I mean, as long as we can see, as long as they hear what we say, and then we can see what they say in response, it's good. Because the thing is like, no, I really don't like it when people try to keep too much of an eye on the chat, because I don't know. It's better to check in on it every once in a while, and so it's better to have a delay. Honestly,
I suppose that makes sense. We
have 7 concurrent viewers in the chat. So welcome everybody. Audio as described. Good to hear. Anarchist Tech Support is a regular. Welcome, Anarchist Tech Support. You're all regulars. Great to see you all. Play Free Bird. The song, or is that an arcade game?
It's a meme.
Oh, it's a meme?
Yeah. Free Bird. Play Free Bird.
All right, you need to educate my boomer ass on this. Everybody's ass is a boomer insofar as they are excluded from any given meme at the time.
Oh, dude, no. We can't. Then we all are, because none of the memes are for everybody.
But that we all are boomers to some degree.
The point of online memes is compartmentalization.
Okay, tell me about this meme then.
The Play Freebird? I don't know. I only know about any of these memes second or third hand. Most of the people who are spreading them are the same.
Is it just? It's just.
Well, you have to say Play Freebird meme, otherwise you're going to get Leonard Skinner playing Freebird. That's
okay. Is that?
Guitar comic handles Freebird heckler, so somebody's memeing him.
Let's see, 2.5 minutes. Let's watch it, y'all. Okay, play.
What'd you say? Really? Freebird? I don't know how to play that song. Is that it? Right?
Yeah.
Wow, he was a lot more ready for that than I was. Okay, but if we're going to show something, we're going to show Vic Berger. So everyone, we're kind of killing time until Blaze gets here. So why not hang out? You know what I mean? So we're going to play this new Vic Berger.
We're going to pray for Donald Trump today.
We're going to pray for Donald Trump today. We're going to play. Okay, let's do it.
I glorify you, Lord Jesus Christ. I ask you to save Donald Trump, Lord God. Save his wife, Almeda, Jesus, his children, Eric, and I love others, Lord Jesus. Amen. Keep praying.
There's a whole trend.
Keep praying.
So, the fake news, of which many of you are members, is trying to convince the public to have a recession.
Can you imagine anyone else talking this way? By the way, it can see us right now.
President,
but right? Everyone can see us, right? Yeah, you can see and hear us. I think so.
What was I going to get my dick out?
Well, I'm not against that. We are.
I think it's terms of service.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like right now. Fresh burger off the press. That's right. Yes. Yes, the chosen one. Let's go back to it. All right. I just wanted to make sure that we were working right now. It looks like everything's functioning. We don't have any mods in the chat. Let's see. Anastasia, you are a moderator now. You can renounce that title anytime you please. Somebody needs to have that just in case while we're off screen. If anyone comes in here spouting their fascist bullshit, they can be whack-a-mole.
Yeah, the internet is madness.
Whack-a-mole. Antifa alert! Antifa alert! Did you see that video yet? Okay, hold on. Fuck Vic Berger. We're gonna watch my video.
Dude, some of the responses you got.
So you've seen
actually confused me.
Well, they're confused people.
Like that one lady, it was like, Antifa's point is that fascism is coming. Are you saying? I don't think she realizes this. She's pro-fascist.
I
think that would come as a surprise, but when you're saying something like eventually the hammer's going to come down on you for the stuff that you're doing, yeah, what you're describing is fascism. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I love how one person on Twitter responded to the. So for those who don't know, the video that I just pulled up on screen right here has some really funny and awful responses. Look at this ratio. First of all, for a little video that I just slapped together pretty quick. It's not like I had to write a script for this one. Mostly this is me kind of taking pieces of other people's stuff on Antifa and just kind of putting it all together. And it was actually, for something I just kind of slapped together, it got a lot of traction really fast compared to my other stuff. And as the one person in here says, they say like, oh, this only has like 500 views a day later. Well, at this rate, it's going to take like 700,000 more years before you can make social change. So I was like, wow, you know so much more about social change than I do. I am completely clueless at this point.
He does have a certain point. If you were the only leftist on Earth, he would be correct.
Yeah, well, even then, okay. We'll talk about these comments in a second. I'm going to play it. I'll be right back. I'm going to take this phone call because Blaze is calling me. Hey, Blaze, hold on one quick sec. I'm going to step out of the room. I'm going to play this video. We're not going to watch this whole thing, everybody, so don't worry. It's not like we're going to watch 17 and a half minutes here. We're going to skip through. I just want to show you a couple feature parts with Scooter with the Antifa alert, Antifa alert. It's a classic already.
They show up in the helmets and the black masks, and they've got clubs and they've got everything. Antifa!
Antifa alert! Antifa alert! Consideration is being given to declaring Antifa the gutless radical left whack jobs who go around hitting only non-fighters, people over the heads with baseball bats, a major organization of terror, along with MS-13 and others, would make it easier for police to do their job.
I think the first thing to address is that Antifa is just short for anti-fascist. And so it's anyone who is against fascism, white nationalism, white supremacy, people who are advocating for genocide or ethnic cleansing.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
So the ethnostate is an ideal that it would be a state for all people of the white race.
Better every time. It looks bad. It looks bad. It looks bad to most of the people that are watching. They don't think, hey, that's Richard Spencer, a known neo-Nazi, let's punch the shit out of him. They're thinking, oh my god, there's this nice, strapping young lad who's wearing a good-looking suit getting hit by this violent thug. That's the way that they look.
It's not an organized group such as the other ones that the president cited in there. It's not like MS-13 where there's a leadership or a hierarchy.
The first thing to internalize is that Antifa is not a group of people. You can't join it or be a member of it. There is no official uniform. Not everybody who masks up at a protest is necessarily anti-fascist, and not all anti-fascists.
I remember those days.
There is no single website or official leadership structure.
Antifa are your neighbors. They're people that research white supremacy and extremism.
The president said his administration is considering designating Antifa as a major organization of terror.
He says Antifa is about to overthrow the government. Right now. Right, you got to add enough people right now.
We cover our face because the Nazis will try to find out who we are. And that is a very bad thing because they harass people.
People who take the streets to try to protect their communities. So, no, I don't believe that most of Antifa would qualify as radical left whack jobs. I'm also unaware of any incidents where baseball bats were used.
Ain't killed nobody. Not one person. They don't have bunkers. They don't have tanks. They don't have rocket launchers.
Far left group, Antifa.
I'm Pim Tool, and this is an Antifa alert.
This time at a Republican office in Manhattan, and the group says it's just the beginning.
Oh, the sweet irony of talking about left-wing violence is you show the right-wing speaker pulling out a katana in the middle of the street. It's just spicy. And while minor damage to Capitol certainly took place before the speech, actual violence occurred in the streets after the speech. 30 guys dressed up in different variations of black and yellow Fred Perry polos chased after 3 guys while calling them ultimately bashing their skulls in. Seems like a hate crime to me. Very strange, though, because I didn't hear about it at all. I wonder what Fox News had to say about this.
Mark, what do you make of Antifa?
Listen, it was an outrageous attack. It threatened staff and the people in that building, and certainly we have staff there. But what is most critical is we have to tone down the rhetoric. Listen, on all sides of the aisle.
But wait a minute, those guys weren't anti-fascist Fox News, they were the Proud Boys, who not only weren't arrested after, but also had time to pose for photos. And now Gavin McInnes is saying that he has friends in the NYPD. Yeah, Gavin McInnes, who also described the Proud Boys in this way.
That's the Proud Boys
So,
in a nutshell.
we'll go ahead and pause it at this point. For those who haven't seen it, there's another 14 minutes of it that's fantastic. If I do say so myself, and I do, because most of it's not even me. It's just, it's highlights of a bunch of other people. Except that, as you see, there's Anne flipping through channels. And over the course of this video, Anne gets radicalized, and then she goes and milkshakes Pim Tool, who is a spoof off of Tim Pool, the Antifa tattletale, who's like an alt-right grifter who goes around pretending he's a centrist who just believes in free speech, but always antagonizing the anti-fascists who show up.
People are making a killing nowadays.
Oh yeah. It's an easy way to get famous, that's for sure.
So
Blaze is here, everybody.
Yeah.
What up?
What's happening?
I'm gonna sit back so that y'all can get in the frame.
Do we get a link yet for this?
Oh, we gotta touch knees. Get in here. We gotta touch knees. All right. This
the
is
old social department back together.
Yeah.
We're the knee-touching clan, I guess. All right. So I'm going to pull up 2 things here. Before we go back to talking about this video, let's do some basic introductions. Hello, everybody in the chat. There is a bit of a delay, but we will be checking in on the chat every once in a while. Kind of. I hope that there'll be. Yeah, there's a couple moderators here should be able to whack-a-mole on any of the people who come. Trying to check this out. Okay, I'm going to show you everybody. There's been a lot of hilarious reactions to this video. Blaze has not seen this video. Lampe was just watching this video for the first time. But see, check this out. I'm able to share the screen here. Yeah, so this video.
We seem soft, we have boys in our name, but like Bill the Butcher and the Bowery Boys, we are fascinating.
Silly libtard, that's not actually inciting violence.
What if it came down to either your vision never happening or having to have that violent confrontation?
The existence of my people is not negotiable.
What if they don't want to go along with your movement?
We'll force them to be free.
Let's see that Gavin guy
Yeah, totally not, violent. The neo-Nazis who want to forcibly remove people to, resegregate, legally resegregate.
To be free as in let them live free or get rid of them.
That's literally fascists, actual Nazis used to say that they would force people to be free because you can't be free if you don't have your group identity, if you don't have your ethno-state.
He's saying that if white people are going to prevent white people from building the ethno-state, he will force them. He will force his own people into his idea. That is fascism. Right. I mean, that's what it's,
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, but this is the kind of comments that I was getting, and I shared this on Twitter and Facebook, and everyone was having a lot of fun with these comments. Look at this person.
That's a word.
Come on. Okay, Selma. Face it. Skinny college, rich white children who were ugly outcasts in high school when the shit hits the fan, you'd all be wiped out in less than half an hour. You exist only by our good graces, and you know it! Exclamation points. 4 of them.
I am partial to exclamation points.
But 4 in a row and spaced out from the end of the sentence. That's just...
This one really did confuse me though, because contextually, it's not just ignorant. It's like sort of, it's circular and self-destructive. And I was making the argument earlier that this is actually, I don't know if this person realizes that they're implying the rise of fascism in their statement.
So I say,
shit hitting the fan.
I'm like, laugh my ass off. I couldn't make you up. They're all scared. I wish I could make. I mean, I should make these people. I should have some sock puppets just like these people. You know what I mean? And then Steve's in here. Who exists by your good graces? How did Unite the Right 2.0 go, by the way? Which is funny because if anybody actually watched this thing, this video, like there's the part where Bo is talking about how Unite the Right 2, where people were supposed to be marching with the tiki torches and, saying, it was like these same people. It didn't go so well. Like 15 people showed up when the year prior there had been like, hundreds. And why? Well, because people started punching Richard Spencer for showing up places. And he said, this sucks. I talk about wanting an ethno state, people punch me. And then Bo says, you can argue about the morality of it, but you can't argue about whether it's effective or not. It's obviously effective if you're punching people in the face.
That's the response.
So then here, I'm going to show a couple of clips. I'll show some clips that aren't clips of, Hassan Piker and stuff like that. Y'all can just go watch the full thing yourselves. But just to fill some people in here, let's just show you all what Scooter and Ann did. So you missed the beginning here, but basically, like Ann sits down on the couch. Oh, Scooter's my friend.
They show up in the helmets and the black masks, and they've got clubs and they've got everything. Antifa!
Anti-baller!
That's Scooter, right? And he's pretending to be Tim Pool, but his name's Pim Tool. Switched it up. So we give some basic history throughout this using different people's already existing video clips. It has Ann on that couch flipping through the channels. At one part, we have Tim Pool here talking about the milkshaking thing that happens. Are you familiar with this, Blaze?
No.
Blaze.
I am not.
Okay, well, in Oregon, when Patriots Prayer or the Proud Boys, which are basically white nationalist groups, gather, Antifa protesters show up. And sometimes when there's people who are super antagonistic are there, they will get milkshaked. Because, these neo-Nazis essentially are always like acting all tough. And they're like, we'll kill you. And they basically, call Antifa a bunch of pussies and like, a bunch of dyed hair, lip ring, pussies, vegans.
Milkshakes.
Yeah, SJW snowflakes. And then, but these people show up with the milkshakes and throw it at them. And then you basically get neo-Nazi tears. They threw milkshakes at us. It's like, you're the ones who are pretending to be all tough. But all right. So, but then they lie and say that chemicals get mixed into the milkshakes. Okay, that's part of the thing that they go around saying. So here's a Scooter.
Like from McDonald's or Burger King or some shit, and then they'll take dry mixed concrete and they'll put it in the milkshake and they'll just swirl it up and they'll make this concoction, man. They'll make a friggin' concoction of wet concrete and milkshake, and then they'll throw it at you, and then you'll get doused in the milkshake concrete mix. And then the concrete will dry instantly, and you'll just be like walking, and you'll be like.
Anti-fascism has a long and proud history, ever since fascism first crystallized in the 1820s.
So then we go into Ollie from Philosophy too. Oh. Yeah, because that video is like an hour long, and it's really good.
Yeah.
But
how long is this video altogether? 20 minutes? 18 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 18. So then let's just go to the part where Ann. Here we go.
So we're doing
fruitful inequality of mankind, which can never be permanently leveled through the mere operation of a mechanical process such as universal suffrage. Fascism is fundamentally opposed to the ideas of liberalism, but it exploits the values of liberalism to protect the right for the free speech of white nationalists. They still will say that those views are despicable. Nobody thinks that the views of Antifa are inherently despicable. even if you disagree with someone having supposedly broken a window somewhere, whether or not if they were actually an Antifa or not, nobody's gotten killed by Antifa. The media's tried to make it out like this shooter or that shooter was related to Antifa, and it always turns out later that it wasn't true, and then they never retract themselves. So, the time has come for people to just be like, you know what? Anti-fascism as an ideology is valid, and maybe sometimes I disagree with how it gets carried out, but I'm not there. I'm not going to speak to it. If I am there, maybe I'll speak to it then. But for the rest of these alt-right grifters who want to go around trying to frame Antifa as real bad guys.
Hey, Denzel! Got a present for you. Antifa alert!
Not fooling us. And anyone who is fooled, who hasn't gotten the memo yet, share this with them.
You fascist!
Sharing is caring. But more
Cool,
importantly,
now that you've got the
sharing
context
is
here,
how
maybe I
word
should
gets out.
have been like,
Word
everybody
about
make sure to watch this
Antifa
before we do this.
needs to go out.
So you can always go back and watch the rest of it. But the basic point is that, first of all, I just love how that all came together. Scooter and Ann both saw the video separately, and they both recorded what they ended up doing of their own accord, kind of like they both just improvised what they wanted to do. So Ann decided she wanted to be flipping through the channels, getting radicalized, and Scooter just decided to kind of play Tim Pool, right? And then when I got to Boise, I was like, Scooter, do you want to get milkshake by Ann? So that was done after the fact, after the rest of it had already been done. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway.
Great acting by Ann, by the way.
I'll let her know you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fuck you, fascists! All right, so who we got in the chat? What's going on in here? Let's all introduce ourselves really quick for there's probably some people of the 15 here who haven't seen the individual live streams with you each in it.
So are these all theory plebers?
These are people that are in the live chat right now, yeah.
That are normally a part of your channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a super chat from Kamazats. Thank you for that. Have some money to incentivize spreading the bread. All right, thank you for that. Spread the bread. Let's take turns introducing ourselves, though. How do we all know each other, and what kind of stuff are we into?
I'll go second.
Yeah, because you're eating some peanut butter Ritz bits.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go first?
All right. I'm Aaron Lampe. I'm in sociology here at Boise State. I met Dave through the philosophy club here at the university, actually. 10,000 years ago, back at the dawn of time.
True.
It's been a lot of adventure since then, but never like at the same time until the JPCon and the presentation on Hicks's book, Explaining Postmodernism.
Is that on your channel right now?
No, because the audio fucked up. Remember, there was that weird banshee scream thing in the middle of it.
So, but can you fix it and get it up? You should do that.
Maybe we should just do another one.
So, for those who didn't know, Jordan Peterson is someone who's a big deal in Canada and elsewhere in the world, and part of what makes him so iconic to the left is that he is all about fear-mongering against the left, telling people that the left is basically the despicable horde of postmodern neo-Marxists. And he gets this all...
Yeah, just everybody he doesn't like is one thing.
Yeah, and he gets this all from a stupid book by Stephen Hicks, which you put together with, kind of like my Antifa video, pulling together stuff other people have done already, kind of showcasing why that book is a fucking miserable waste of everyone's time.
And another reason why I think it's important to do that video, by the way, is because it's only recently that I've started to realize what it was that was really happening there. Because it freaked me out that anybody gave a shit to begin with. But and Dave and I were talking about this. There's these steps that people are going through where people are getting they have a certain kind of air on the internet or in public. And then people start going, oh, this is like the heir of academia or the heir of somebody who specializes in something and understands what that is. And then they sort of beget things that they're talking about that people latch onto in that same sort of way. But the stuff that they're talking about, as though it's something that specialists in fields talk about, has nothing to do with it at all. And so you have Jordan Peterson.
Are you saying that, yeah.
Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist who wrote a book that sort of undermines anthropology, and that got out there a ways, and it got him into a place where he's like, well, I read this other great book you guys should read. But the book he's talking about is not an academic work, and neither is his, because he's sort of anti-academy. He thinks that it's corrupt. And so he kind of deliberately works outside
arguably
of that.
It is. I mean, we would have to agree.
Well,
that it's
neoliberalism conversation is definitely going to go into that.
Yeah. Which for those who didn't, there's a casual stream, but we'll be touching on a couple of things, and a couple of the themes are neoliberalism and the future. Specifically, I wanted to talk about virtual reality, but we'll get to that later. So anyway. And then you two have both been in classes together, right?
No,
I've just been in the social department and dealing with Scarrett and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like our
Scarrett's a professor at the social department here at Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even live here anymore. I'm just visiting Boise State because I'm here for the day. So getting to see some friends is neat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you are ready to introduce yourself. Right? And I'm Dave. I also go by Theory. I use they, them pronouns. This is my channel. Thank you for joining, everybody. I guess I should always introduce myself. I forget that I'm a part of things. So,
a part of a lot of things.
Blaze, I'm so happy you were able to join us.
And I'm Blaze. It's really my name. I always get asked that, so I start with that. And there really is an exclamation point after the E in my name. And a part of the sociology department, graduated BSU as well. Involved with a lot of the things regarding diversity and inclusion on campus, and just believe that people should be able to be who they want to be and live their lives without any hassle. So that's kind of what I'm about. Yeah.
Also.
What I miss.
Oh, Joshua. More like Stephen Hack, am I right?
Well, that's the point I'm making. That book was never meant for people to be examining it like it's an academic work at all. It was a political project that was sort of like, what if philosophy is connected to Randian libertarianism? But Rand wasn't actually, and people say this all the time. They always talk about Rand like Rand was a philosopher. Rand was not, to my knowledge, trained in philosophy at all.
Ayn Rand, that is, for those who don't know, for those lucky few who have not been subjected.
That aren't in the fucking tug of war forever, that can never end.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, that was the point I was trying to make.
I get to say it now. I get to tell everybody. Okay,
say it now.
Check it out. Today, I got to try out this thing called Black Box VR. Black Box VR is a virtual reality. Imagine like something sort of akin to like a CrossFit. It's like a gym people go to. They check in and out. There's like weekly like competitions or like sort of like goals that get kind of set out. But it's all gamified through apps. So you actually have a character. It keeps record of everything. But moreover, you put on your VR headset and you use ropes and a couple other things when you're doing moves in this VR world where you're fighting bad guys. You're fighting bad guys like in a video game, but like the power moves and like the attacks that you're doing actually require your exertion against resistance. And so I did a half hour today. I was the first person who is not an employee of Black Box VR to do it in Boise. It opens tomorrow. And the only other place that it exists is in San Francisco right now. I don't know if there might be other companies like this, competitors of theirs, but yeah.
So what I wonder, since you were talking about your fighting, so let's say you do one of these kicks. If you can only get your leg up so high, does it still show like a full kick in the actual virtual reality?
Do they have the cable on your leg? I think you'd need the cable on your leg. You can do arms because you're holding the ropes.
So that kind of stuff then.
But if you have to put the ropes on your legs too.
I'm gonna play a really short video. Let's do this.
It replaces the lack of haptic feedback though, which is a problem they've been dealing with in VR. So.
I know I'm like doing free. I'm doing free advertising right now, but we'll talk more about this in a second. Yeah, that's what it looks like inside there. Yeah, this is
like a pinball.
It's like a 3D pinball machine. Now I can go back to sharing the us in the corner now, so they see that. I love OBS once it actually works. But the school is fast enough to work. So anyway, you can like unlock different moves. You can unlock different characters who will help you. There's all sorts of cool stuff. And I was out of breath and sore, and I hadn't even been paying attention, which is exactly what I need because I'm not much of a worker outer.
How many minutes did you do?
It's a half hour. That's what it is per day.
Half hour constant, nonstop?
Yeah. I mean, pretty nonstop. And it actually, it definitely worked for keeping me, I wasn't focused on the resistance and my muscles. There were a couple times where I'm fighting these bad guys, and then I realized, oh my God, my legs are about to give out. It was good. It was really good. And so I'm like, I'm all about gamifying working out. I'm all about gamifying, labor, and various forms of labor that don't typically get compensated as they should be.
I think they did that already with Whistle While You Work.
It's been done. What more is there to achieve?
Those were entrepreneurs though.
Oh, were they?
I
thought those were the people that were. Those
are the dwarves, aren't they? Is that dwarves or?
We're talking about
Disney, maybe. I don't know. I just thought it was.
I think they might have been stealing those diamonds. If you're thinking in liberal terms, somebody had to own the mine, and these 7 guys just wander over there and take anything valuable they find in the mine or out by the end of the day. I don't know.
Go through undetected on the way out with the diamonds.
Yeah, there's nobody there. They're just in the off hours, taking what they can find.
Anne is in the chat and said, "This is the future." Also, her roommate works at this place. That's how I found out about it, and so she'll hopefully be able to do the 1 month free trial soon. I wish I could. Steve says, "LOL, I'm commenting on your Antifa video while listening at double speed to get caught up, and I heard you read my comment." Oh, that's funny. As soon as I saw all the fascists on that video.
Joshua.
Yeah, so he's been slamming all of these fascists. Let's go back to that really quick. We'll talk more about this VR thing in a second, but let's look at the we got some really precious comments here. Antifa's going to attack someone who concealed carries one of these days. ... All right. This is the one. This morning 459 views. At this rate, it will take 700,000 years to change the world by my calculations. All that effort wasted. ... Shame. Yeah, it was a lot of effort to pull together a few clips.
See, that's the weirdest thing about that. It's like
1,000 years.
If this one person's effort, it's literally made up of other people's efforts, though. So you already have to be in a fallacious position of extreme individualism to make the statement.
Yeah.
So the point of being deluded.
Well, also, I mean, YouTubers are, at the end of the day, a little. I mean, I see it as like it's almost like having a Facebook, and I make public posts, except that there a little bit more work goes into them because they're videos, and sometimes a lot more work goes into it because they're basically essays. But it's like, imagine someone coming up and being like, "Nice Facebook post. What do you expect to change the world? At this rate, you're gonna have to do it like." What, for 700,000 years to change the world? It's like, I didn't say that my... It's like, you either reach everybody or it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Serious question. What good has come from any modern day Antifa authoritarian activism in the United States?
Okay, what?
First,
it's literally anti-authoritarianist. That's its point.
There is no leader. How is it going to be authoritarian? Okay, but no. Okay, how about the fact that if they'd actually watched the video,
why can't they just be mad at what it actually is? Can they be right about what it is before they're mad? Is that so much to ask?
They say what good has come. The video addresses this like 4 times, talking about we can't know how many different times fascism has been nicked in the bud in the last 70 years of anti-fascist organizing. Like, you can't calculate the number of things that have been inhibited, right? So that's one of the things. But we know for absolute fact that Unite the Right 2.0 was an abysmal failure, which is what Steve was pointing out earlier. Yeah, anyway. So it's a lot of fun. I don't normally highlight these kinds of comments, but it's just so funny this time around because I must have been shared. This must have been shared on. Look, can you be pro-white in the 21st century?
Yeah, when does that even come up?
You know, it's funny. I think was Leland a part of some of the other things that we were on? It's like that name stuck out when I looked at that, and so I was just trying to see. No,
I mean, I don't recognize that person. I would ban them, except there are some videos where it's important to leave this stuff up so that people know that what you're responding to is real. Like people would be like, "Well, what? There's no one's pro-fascist, and no one's saying that Antifa is literally the devil." No, read the comment section. Like, they're all here. They literally think it. Yeah. How about the part where they're talking about how there's a few in here where they talk about
that comment by Leland though?
No. I mean, some other people might.
I have maybe.
Some other people may do it. Come at me, Antifa, like all your videos and my Come at me, Antifa, like all your videos and my conceal and carry permit will get used.
Yeah, they'll find them on the street.
This person doesn't even know how to say. What do they mean by like all my videos? How do we decide who the fascists and the anti-fascism nowadays is the
Yep.
How do we decide who's the fascist? The anti-fascism nowadays is the fascist. Oh, I'm glad you figured out how we decide.
Thanks for letting us all know.
Glad you chose it's the one who hasn't been responsible for any killings.
Why can't there be somebody who's like, my issue with Antifa is something like having an organization like this that doesn't have a public face so they can't be argued with. It's got to be shit like, I got a conceal and carry permit, I'd shoot him.
You know, I'm actually totally open to criticism, and I would respond in good faith to any criticism that comes in good faith. Like, exactly. I have liberal friends who would say, look, at the end of the day, this kind of there's a way of committing acts of civil disobedience and protests that are a lot more effective if you do show your face. And if you are really willing to take that on, and if you don't, then it looks bad and it looks scary to normies. And so it's a thing about optics. And you can make that argument. They're not making that argument.
Exactly.
And the thing is,
how do you argue with this?
I would love to
nonsense. This is just a waterfall of gibberish.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this one, only fascist foot soldiers cover their faces. They are the lowest of the low. They hit from behind, attack in groups, collect pay from the rent-a-crowd leftist elites, Soros. They hide behind a name that is the total opposite of what they are. Sound just like Antifa. All of these people, sound just like Antifa. Yeah, sound just like caveman.
But I think, do you even think with a lot of the comments where it's still seeming like it's, I'm going to say mob mentality, where it's like everybody's just like kind of...
Yeah, they're screaming into the void for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got shared in some Trump-loving group. I must have been.
It's engagement. These clicks count.
No, it's gotten it more popular than it would have gotten, that's for sure. I couldn't find my favorite one. This person who tells me they'll fight Antifa to the death. Let's see if I can find that one.
I still think that's this black chick from Philly.
Antifa.
Antifa. Oh, I like that.
Oh, I found it. Okay, it's right here, everyone. Mike Smith. I am not on the left or the right, but hear me. I will defend this country to the death. I don't like Antifa, and I will be watching them. They are the true threat to this country. Cool, man. All right. Anyway, so
true threat.
That wasn't what this was going to be. This stream was even going to be about.
No,
but I mean, it's been such a fun time, you know. Hold on. Yeah. Ann was up there. Read the "Hear Me" comment. But hear me, I will fight to the death. Yeah. Yeah, and apparently, as Kamazat says, Kellyanne Conway is trying to spread that Antifa stands for anti-First Amendment. Smart move. I mean, rebranding hashtags or popular words is obviously a good strategy on their part, but I don't think it's going to catch on. It's obviously not true. Being able to protest is an exercise of your First Amendment.
Yeah, see, that's another issue with that kind of thing. But that's sort of thinking why it winds up being circular.
And someone says it's 2019. There are no normies left. I don't know where you're from, but that's obviously not true. Normies it's a relative term, but it's anybody who is not very who thinks that they're not ideological, who thinks that they're able to kind of play like center left, center right, normal, like they don't really get involved in politics, or if they do, then it's kind of like the politics of CNN and their parents or whatever. And it's like it's obviously they're not normal by any sense of the word if you compare them to anyone else in the world, but they think they're normal.
So it might be because they don't want to pick a side either.
Well, you have to know a lot of things in order to have a horse in the race, right? It's easier to just try to keep your head in the sand.
Yeah.
And then a lot of this stuff is so complex too that you just can't kind of try to regurgitate some of the stuff that you've heard without really have been investing some time in it.
Like neoliberalism, for example.
There you go. Go ahead, Harvey.
Scarrett skipped it today. He skipped right over it. He's like, we'll deal with it later because it freaks people out early on. We got to talk about it.
Okay, capitalist realism, neoliberalism, cishet, normativity, whiteness are all things that are aspects of normativity in the U.S.
White privilege, that's huge too.
Whiteness, white privilege, yeah. Yeah, and these are all, and the thing is like they're ideological, and people think that it's the default, think that it's normal, think it's not ideological, think that they're able to reproduce these behaviors and assumptions, and that it's not political, and that if you challenge it, that's political. That's a normie. That's. I mean, if the word is to have any meaning, that's what it is. Damon Garcia is in the chat. Welcome, Damon. Damon has a channel. Everyone should always check out. Should always.
MSORO class or something.
Yeah, that you're taking with Ann?
Yes.
Ann's on MSORO.
Yeah, that's really cool.
She didn't know she was.
I can't believe she didn't know. I can't believe she didn't know.
Explain it to everybody, because for everyone who doesn't know, what is this?
The Intermountain Social Research Laboratory is
a lot of work.
It's a program here at Boise State, which is sort of like an ad hoc undergraduate version of graduate school, where we investigate the effects of neoliberalism on higher education and all of the different forms that takes, all the effects that it has, all of the basically, boots stomping the backs of our necks that take place because of it.
Is that this year's or this semester's thing, or is this a part of?
It's been 5 years. Okay. It's been every time, but there's a lot of different ways that you can take that. Like, of course, Scarrett's is usually diversity, marketizing diversity, and excuses for white supremacy, basically. And he sort of recycles some of that stuff, and he just got one of his first publications out of it, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah. But the cornerstones of that, one of the cornerstones of that class is David Harvey's Brief History of Neoliberalism.
Yes, which I would love to eventually do a video on. For anybody who's only going to be here for a second, let's just say that you were not subscribed to Mad Blender. well then check yourself. Fix that situation. Mad Blender's got one of the best channels on YouTube, and she has a fantastic video on neoliberalism that draws heavily from David Harvey's book. But I don't know anybody who's drawn more on the book in my personal life than Lampe. So I think we'll probably do a video proper on the concept of neoliberalism. But for right now, I'll just say that, like, if you come around Lampe or anyone else who does this thing, then it's like they see neoliberalism and everything. They speak of it like it's just like neoliberalism, and it's always like, what are you talking about? So you want to take a stab at breaking it down fast style for the people?
Okay, so what I want to say real quick is that it's become a huge buzzword on the left in general without having a lot of definition. But there's a lot of reasons for that to be the case. Because neoliberalism is, I like to describe it as kind of like a hydra. It's like a big lumbering dumb beast. So you know it when you see it, but its heads, it has lots of heads, and they wriggle around into all kinds of places. And until you do a lot of digging, you don't know exactly what it's up to or what it's doing. Because neoliberalism's effects in South America have been very different from their effects in North America, and very different from the effects in England, very different from the effects in the rest of Europe, and their effects in Asia. But there are authors that specifically specialize in neoliberalism's effects just on China. So that's one of the reasons why it's hard to sort of get a grip on it. But historically, it started out as an economic movement that replaced Keynesianism, and then eventually, because of the people in power that it was involved with, became the de facto ideology that we're all swallowing every day as we're drinking the Kool-Aid of normal everyday life and using terms of
But
praise.
how are people swallowing the ideology of neoliberalism if they do not, for instance, hold like free market beliefs, or if they're not always reducing everything to economic transactions? Then how are they neoliberal?
It even winds up sort of crawling into our language and the way that we're taught to communicate with one another, the way that we're taught how to think about situations. Even the normalization of phrases like "I don't buy it" is part of that. This idea that there's the reason for doing anything on a rational level has to have something to do with not getting into certain kinds of trouble, because one of the reasons that neoliberalism gets defended is that it keeps the army from from letting the fascists rise. We can go into some interesting details about that recently. How it protects us from socialism, and it protects us from foreign threats and terrorism, especially terrorism now. And so in order for you to be safe, you have to be willing to accept and to get a job in order to be secure, all the normal capitalism stuff. And so that's how it winds up just influencing every ordinary person's lives. We interview people here all the time. They have no idea that they're saying stuff like, I think money is more important than people. But everything that they have to say about how they make their decisions is about having to deal with the debt that they're in right now, for example. Now, I'm talking about how they're going to have to do something to get a job because they can't survive without one.
Mechanization. Maybe Mechanisasia can actually let me know phonetically if I'm saying this wrong. I know you told me once how to say it, but I know I'm always...
Where is it? Show me.
Mechanisasia. I think I'm saying it right. But
I see. It's
if I'm right here, Mechanisasia. Yeah, if I'm saying it wrong, just let me know. But anyway, does it meaning neoliberalism? Does neoliberalism mean limiting only market solutions for everything?
Basically,
because that is what people often think it means.
Maybe it's probably mechanesthesia.
I think the mecha is supposed to be short for like the Greek root for machines.
But what I mean is, but at the same time, you see, you got anesthesia in there, so maybe it's just mechanesthesia.
Mechanesthesia. Well, that makes sense.
Let us know.
Mechanesthesia.
Yeah, but even with the whole exposure, the immersion into the neoliberalism, it's not like a person really has to buy in or subscribe. It's just like in the water, it's in the air. And so you might not get fully indoctrinated in it, but you're definitely immersed in it. And just like you said, certain comments that we have, they're all stemmed from that, and we don't even know it. And it's just there. And so that keeps it perpetuating itself. Even people working multiple jobs, doing things that are, like you said, all based on finances, and we make all our decisions based on that. And who would have thought that we would all kind of get trapped in it by saying, yeah, go to school, take out loans to go so that we can keep you, in this rat race kind of a thing. So yeah, it's, it's just there. And, I guess kind of like being in the Matrix, somebody kind of has to open your eyes to let you actually see, what you're in.
So part of neoliberalism is, oh, and by the way, you definitely said it right. So good job.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, McKinnon Stager. So, but okay.
I have a habit of saying names right, just so you know.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It was Blaze who could first say Kali correctly. So, hat off.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hat back on.
Yeah. But so neoliberalism in part arises as you said a response to Keynesianism.
It
in
overthrows.
Part,
that's the thing.
It was a part of. I mean, really, it kind of emerges with the Cold War and the resistance towards anything that could possibly look like socialism or democracy in the workplace.
Yeah, they weaponize that socially in what's referred to as the culture wars. A big part of how it became hegemonic is because of how successful that was. It's basically the same shit on a different day, turning all of the minoritized peoples against each other so that they don't fight against the power structure, basically. It's just they had a different way of doing it where they were like, well, look at all of this multiculturalism that's happened. Look at all of these minorities who are in the middle class now. Isn't that scary? It's because of all of this stuff that's going on and you're not getting your fair slice. You better do something about it. And then Reagan and Thatcher rise up through all of this, through what Mark Fisher calls capitalist realism, where they're like, well, the only way to deal with any of these problems is, of course, to let the markets handle it. And these people were in charge of that process and came up with the theories behind it, which, I mean, that's why it's so interesting, is because it starts out as a fringe economic theory and a handful of people doing these experiments on a grand scale. Like they overthrew the government of Chile, for example, to start the ball rolling on shit like this. But then in like 20 years, they overthrew the economic order of the West, like completely replaced it. And they're sort of an academic branch. So nobody like really noticed until it was involving politics on a level that eventually became a hegemonic ideology on the ground level among ordinary people, without any of them realizing how much it had become a part of their lives.
So what are maybe some examples of ways that it's just what okay, so if it's an ideology that's emerged over the last especially 30 years, let's say, then where if you were to take someone now and drop them into a previous historical moment, like what would be, if everything else was to stay the same, what's so crazy the neoliberal being dropped into some other reality?
Well, that's the
what thing. Are other ways of doing things that are totally not unique to neoliberalism?
Well, see, that's one of those things where even if we've even heard Elon Musk do that. Where Elon Musk is like, look, if people don't have enough money, they can't buy my products. That is already like a breach in neoliberal realism and the notion of neoliberalism. What is this?
It looks like we completely lost the stream.
Did we not have signal for a while there?
Did we lose it for 10 whole minutes?
There's no way, because we saw peaks and valleys that whole time. It hasn't been 10 minutes. There's no way.
You think that could have been the time when you were playing that video or something? But it wasn't 10 minutes, right?
Wait, no, it's like saying that we lost all viewers for 10 whole minutes. Sorry, everybody, if we...
I thought that's viewers. I thought that was our upload.
We didn't lose all of our viewers for 10 whole minutes. There's no way. So, okay, but really quick, since we got distracted anyway, Kamazotz wanted... So now I said it. I don't know if it's true, though. Now it fixed it, by the way. It went away.
That's almost like...
But, okay, so this person asked you to say their name.
With
They said, yeah, try mine. So you said you get people's names
Adora
right.
Pariah, that one?
No, this one right here. They said, yeah, try
Well,
mine.
when you look at it first, you think it's trying to say like a play on comatose, but let me just see. You said Kamazotz? Is that what you said?
That is what I said. You were like, well, Dave's always wrong.
Yeah, so it's like I got to try to think of something different.
Yeah, because you can't just say like, well, I guess he could just say, I think you were right about Kamazotz, but...
Let's see.
everyone says they didn't notice
Unless
anything.
it's Kamazotes, but
is it Kamazots or Kamazotes?
Or are we close?
Are we even close? Because apparently everybody messes it up. So, okay, I think we're fine. So no more worries about whether people can see us. They can see us.
It's just weird lag issues, maybe. So they haven't missed out on anything.
So it says 62 playbacks. Does that mean 62 people have gone back to the beginning and then tried to listen to it from the beginning?
Okay, so you were right.
Oh, Kamazots.
All right. High five.
Well, on that note, everybody, we're going to close this out.
End on a good note, like positive, like, yeah, I did it. I got it.
Here. I feel like we've got all this space.
Trying to take advantage.
Blaze to get into the screen here.
So here I am.
There we go. The bad lighting. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. We had lights.
We don't get... we would have had to drive a half hour to get to Blaze's house, and we didn't have any access to anywhere else, so this worked. Okay, check this out, though. I'm in this room. They used to have a little computer outside the room where you could reserve it, but that's down right now for maintenance, so you can just come in here and it's first come, first served without any time limit. So I come in, I feel like I'm lucky, I get all set up, and I'm in private, minding my own business, totally not expecting to have to communicate with other human beings because this is a private space once the door's closed. But then the door opens and in walks my old boss. Wow. My old boss, who is in an office building across campus, usually not even over here. It's just the weirdest thing. My boss and like the secretary and some other people that I know all of them. And they all come in here acting like they own the place. And they're like talking about the stuff that has to change in this room, like mechanically speaking, and I'm just like, hi. The one day I'm in town, I happen to see my boss. Oh, so what you just did right there made it so that everyone sees that thumbnail right now, which is okay.
Hey, there you go. You get to finally see me. I was trying to type to Riv right there.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll put it back on us.
All right,
and
there
then
we go.
Go back over here, and then there you go.
There you go.
Okay, Blaze is typing at you, River. Yeah, glad you were able to join, River. So this was kind of an impromptu, improv stream. We didn't really. It's spontaneous. I mean, that's what I meant to say.
That's how we do it. We might be somewhere in the mountains of Nepal one day and just decide, like, let's pull over and do a live podcast. We just all happen to be.
That's what it takes to get it done, though.
That's what American
Otherwise,
Johnson
it doesn't
does.
happen.
Dorian Sapien says, "Great thumbnail. Thank you. Look at that thing.
It's cold.
You don't want to go to Nepal. I want to go all over the place. And you're right, Blaze. Actually, that's what American Johnson from Non-Compete does with Luna. They anywhere they're at, they'll start live streaming. So
just carry your gear with you. You never know.
So I haven't had any live streams in quite a while, and yesterday was Hegel's birthday, and I didn't even do a live stream for Hegel's birthday, and it's just I haven't had consistent Wi-Fi.
There's a 24-hour grace period, so you can still do
it. Happy birthday, Hegel! Everybody, give it up to Hegel.
2 times.
Without Hegel, no Marx.
Yep.
Without Marx, no world. We would have the whole thing would have been decimated by capital already, unchecked. It would have just been anarchists and capitalists and in-betweeners. And the anarchists would have done what they do, and we would have never had the serious leftist pushback that we did have. We would have never gotten the 8-hour working day. We would have never gotten the 40-hour work week. 7-year-olds would still be working 15-hour days in coal mines. And
does that mean France would have?
I mean, they are still, by the way, but let's not act like they're not. But
yeah, I was just going to say, did that mean that France would have not taken a lighter load, in the workforce, like 35-hour work weeks and extra days off for just because, stuff like that. So I just wonder, would they still have found a way to be a little less demanding on their workers?
Okay, I want to back. Oh, so I'm being a little over. So who knows how important a role Marx actually plays? I don't actually know. And then it's kind of weird to make Hegel's birthday about Marx. Um,
I'm actually wondering what the hell the universe might be like if it wasn't Hegel.
Cause and
Hegel
effect.
did so fucking much.
for those who didn't know, Hegel is really like Hegel and Aristotle might be the two greatest minds, and the people get mad if they're into Plato or some other thinker over these ones, but I mean, no other philosopher knew all of the sciences and wrote the histories of philosophy and the philosophies of history and the entire encyclopedias of everything there was to be known, and then like integrated it all into a new way of seeing things. And then I mean with Aristotle, you know, he writes the book on rhetoric, on poetry, on politics, on I mean literally the first book on each of these topics, right? And it goes on down the line, metaphysics, ethics, and you know, Hegel's kind of like at that same kind of level. So happy birthday, Hegel. We're not going to do a special live stream just for you today, but
See the
Cancel
questions
off.
about the bread tube union.
What's that?
There's a couple of questions asking if you're interested in the bread tube union.
Oh, have you any interest in a bread tube union if it existed? Bread tube union, UN, yeah, tough writer, but total Chad. I guess I would always be interested in seeing whatever the bread tube union is going to try to do, but to me, I don't see the point immediately. I'm open to being convinced otherwise, but to me, I think that the only way that would really make sense is the YouTube union, you know, for creators might make sense, but BreadTube is such a small subset of YouTube, it would have no power to do anything. I mean, well, unless it required people to like interact and work together more often. But
That's what I was just
there's
thinking.
the interpersonal politics stuff I personally would probably not want to get involved in, because each of us is like, okay, there's some people are on here trying to be thought leaders, other people are on here trying to be educators, and then we've got different people trying to do different things kind of in between that or juggling those hats. I would just say though that because I'm not trying to be a thought leader, it'd be weird trying to work with other people who would all try to like want to try to, you know, oh, you need to do some kind, you know, do this kind of content. I don't know.
Maybe, but there's also the possibility that it could set a standard for what could eventually become group mobilization. Because, I mean, first of all, we're losing that in our society on the whole anyway, like the collapse of unions and things like that. But also, YouTube for a long time has needed there to be some sort of a way for the users to stand up to the corporations on it.
I just don't see why it would be BreadTube. Why wouldn't it just be YouTube creators, which is already a thing? I feel like BreadTube is too niche. Like that's arguably between 15 and 100 creators, you know. And
So if it could be useful, it would have to be some kind of cornerstone or first step or something.
I guess that's what I'm saying is I would want to know what the goals are, because if it's hanging out in a Discord trying to draft the rules, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't.
Yeah.
I tried once to be a part of something that was coming up with some basic stuff for creators in a Discord, and it's just too much. I would maybe sign off on something other people did, and if anybody said, hey, you would be useful if you did X, Y, and Z things, I'd be like, oh, maybe if I can be helpful, I would do that. But just in general, I'm just like, I don't know. So maybe tell me more about that. But yeah, for me, I'm just like, I don't know.
You could also just kind of start your own thing, and maybe there'll be a pleb tube or you know what I'm saying? I mean, just that's the thing. Use your own thoughts and whatever you have passion about that you feel you want to share with people, and just start putting that out there and see how others gravitate to it. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like what you're doing here already. You know,
right.
Wind up with your own mass of young Hegelians.
Well, Kamazats, I'm curious to know what, if you all talked about that in a live stream, what are the goals you think people would probably be working towards in that union? Because here's the thing is like, anything I can think of is just a broader goal of YouTube creators, right? And it would be, you know, changing the algorithms to favor smaller content creators, especially over and at the expense of these larger corporate things like we've got the Trevor Noah show. Everyone's being driven in that direction now, and it's like, well, there's so much smaller, actual homegrown YouTube content, but that's not getting that traffic. Also, like, I don't know if we, as with all things, if we could get the money out of it, right? Because you've got people like PragerU just throwing millions of dollars of ad revenue in there so that people are seeing that content,
Development stage.
All right, cool, everybody. Keep me in. I'll just say this: just keep me in the loop. If you want, I'm definitely interested to know what you would all be working towards. So obviously, I'm interested in helping in any way I can. But I don't know. I'm definitely.
I have a quick question. Can you just respond to tell us if you're on the West Coast or if you're on the East Coast? Just kind of have a curiosity about where people are, because sometimes in the middle of the day you never know, where people are. So I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here. So if you can type, please share. Where are you at? East Coast, West Coast?
All Central Time Zone. All Central Time Zone.
Yeah. What time is it for? what time is it wherever you're?
Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Central." Be like, so if you think about it, 2:00 our time is 1:00 in California.
Kamazat, stop typing while driving. Someone's gonna die typing.
Plan is a bad plan, Kamazats.
All right, so it's the Midwest. So is that Midwest as in the East Coast time zone now? Or are you going to try to be in that little Illinois part that doesn't count as East Coast? 644. Need help with that one, River?
Oh, it's 6 p.m. 6:44.
Oh, okay. So East Coast.
So everybody, I figure we're going to go for another 15 minutes. We got to close out.
Somebody, Comatose wants to call. Or, excuse me, Kamazats. Sorry.
Yeah. Comatose.
Well, I told you when I first saw it, that's what I thought. So, do you want to take a call from
Kamazats? I'm just kidding. Could you take a call?
Yeah, a lot of East Coast.
I don't think we could take a call. No. In the future, I might take a call, but...
What kind of software are you using here?
It's 5:43 where Kamazats is at.
All right, so Central Time.
Well, y'all, it's 4:45 here, and we're going to go for barbecue at this epic spot. You have been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've not been there? And you're not going there. That's right.
It's a barbecue place that also specializes in vegan food.
Yeah. So they've got excellent vegan options. My partner is vegan, and I just hate when menus aren't looking out for the vegans. And so Barbecue for Life has excellent regular barbecue, but it also has amazing vegan barbecue. So if you're ever in Boise, y'all check that out. West Coast 3:45.
West Side.
Nerdy
West
Punky
Side.
Monkey, you must be in California or something, huh? Anarchist Tech Support. Vegan barbecue? What? Yeah, oh man, you think that's a big deal. Well, if you're in Boise, then that's what you could get. But if you're in Seattle, there are so many cool places you can go to. Seattle's got you covered.
You can trip and fall in real places.
Any real city probably has you covered.
True.
Got enough.
It's probably easier to get around in a lot of them than Seattle anyway, because the topography is murder.
Being vegan in a small town is so much harder than in the city. Being vegan in a city, it's like, oh, you can eat Ethiopian food, Indian food, Thai food, obviously Mexican food. There's so many other kinds of foods that are more vegan friendly than typical American. Yeah,
I'm funny though with vegetables, just stir frying up some vegetables. Like I'm cool with that.
It's funny though too, because the typical American food is even becoming less and less scarce outside of rural places.
Less and less what?
Scarce. It's less and less common outside of rural places. Like all the old school diner type stuff's closing down. getting replaced with corporate restaurants and pizza chains. Why are there so many pizza chains? How many pizza chains?
It's inexpensive. It's like Italian food.
There's a lot of pizza in this town.
There are 30 pizza restaurants within walking distance of this campus.
That's the campus. 30. There you go.
It's nuts.
Like 10 of them deliver, and they deliver to like a 10-block radius.
Idaho Pizza is probably my favorite one of all of those. What else? What else are we going to talk about before we close this out? Is anybody sold on Black Box VR? Are you going to get your free 1-month trial? Go check it out.
Maybe.
Apparently, there's plenty of people working for this for Black Box VR.
Oh, Anne is sold.
Is Anne sold on?
Anne's a believer
on Black Box VR.
Yeah, she says it's amazing.
So Anne, did you go try it today?
This is funny. Like I just noticed that out of everything. It's amazing. I knew exactly what she was talking about.
Unless she's talking about barbecue for life.
Yeah, because that would have been a few minutes.
Yeah,
we do have that lag though. Yeah. We've got that lag.
Yeah, but not that bad of a lag.
I don't know. It's pretty bad. I was upset.
Hold on. I'm gonna put my hand up and then put it down.
1,000.
How long until it shows it?
3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, 8 1,000, 9 1,000, 10 1,000, 11 1,000, 12 1,000, 13 1,000.
I thought it was going to be it for a second.
15.
This has got to be the most interesting content on the internet.
Oh, there we go. 17 seconds, y'all. Sorry, I know this is we set a casual stream though, so I don't know what anybody else was thinking was going to happen.
It is pretty casual, so
let's see.
We did not. Well, you didn't lie. I'm not thinking you're supposed to do this.
Mm-hmm. It's all theory.
Yeah. Okay. So veggies, rice, and beans are cheap, but I always
veggies aren't cheap. Rice and beans are cheap. That's why Italian restaurants can. Plus, you can buy all that crap in bulk, and it doesn't go bad.
Just get
keep that stuff along for a while.
Frozen.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like fresh pasta, but just like rice, pasta, beans, that stuff can stay dry, and you can fill up the whole room like this instead of paying. I'm gonna make say $1 a unit, buy enough, and pay 62 cents a unit, and you don't have to worry about it going bad. So you got good pricing.
I will just say this. Eating a healthy and diverse diet that stays like good tasting, and like it switches it up often enough. That's what I mean by the diversity of the food that you're eating. I think that should be normal and that everyone should be able to do that. And instead, it's very difficult. And if you're vegan, it's very, very difficult. But if you're poor and vegan, then it's extremely difficult. And so,
it's like playing golf.
What? Expensive?
Golf's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegan diet expensive as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anne was talking about the barbecue.
I had vegan options there for everyone, or for the two of you.
But she said the Black Box sounds amazing. Oh, dip! I think I'm behind. Yeah.
Oh, she was saying it was about. Oh, I thought you were talking about my barbecue. She's talking about the barbecue from that place.
No, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. This is where the delay actually starts to matter.
Yes.
All right, but okay. Anybody have any final thoughts to say about neoliberalism, Black Box VR, barbecue, Antifa, or my new hat?
Actually, I think I met Antifa when I was in
Philly. Yeah, back in Philly.
Someone, I forget who the genius was. It might have been Dorian Sapiens. Dorian, are you still in the chat? When we did the premiere for the Antifa video, I think it was Dorian said that Anne's name in the credits should have been Anne, and then in parentheses, Tifa.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Right? Because she has other characters she's done, like Darren or Manly Man. And if anyone who hasn't seen Anne in her other roles, she featured in the game video essays on my channel. She also featured in the Manly Man satire piece that was on that is on the New Civilization Project YouTube channel.
And one of her best performances was in the Wall Street Scandal, where she played Lolita. That was from my murder mystery dinner.
Oh snap! I forgot about that because I wasn't there. So, do you want to tell everyone about that? Because that sounded really fun.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. Anne did an awesome job, by the way, too. It was called the Wall Street Scandal Murder Mystery Dinner. You have 8 characters. You get a game in a box, and you pass out scripts to everybody when they show up, and they kind of read off the script. They have to mention certain things during each round. So you may be required to let everybody know you saw John by the water fountain at 3:06 p.m. And so everyone has certain things that they have to say, but a lot of it is just ad lib on the spot, people being creative. So if you have a great group of people that you can reach out to come to, your house or whatnot and put all these characters together, it's an activity that's probably unlike anything you've done before, and they're a lot of fun. And Anne was awesome. So that's what I was trying to bring up, her best performance yet.
Yes. Sorry, Ken was awesome. I'm trying to find where you elaborated. So we talked about, okay, so I'm going to read what Kamazatz was saying about the bread tube union. We talked about the setting up a defense fund through monthly dues via live stream. Like one live stream a month, money would go into a defense fund in case people got demonetized. We also discussed possibly a crowdsourcing other people into the fold, so allowing fans or subscribers to help with a channel that they can also support the union overall. And I know that Kamazat said that this is voice to text, and that's a big part of the problem. So, but we got you.
Just learned a new word. I said, "Oh, dip."
And so Anne gets that from The Good Place because it's what Jason Mendoza from The Good Place is always saying. Oh, dip. Cool. Well, that's a neat idea. Interesting, though. The problem is that anybody... So, I don't know. Unless you're a pretty big bread tuber, being demonetized doesn't actually make a difference. I am monetized on a lot of my videos, and I have never seen a penny for it. The only money I've ever gotten was through Super Chats, and I've only gotten a few of those. I do get demonetized like almost on a weekly basis. Then I have to appeal the demonetizations. These are automatic. They don't give reasoning. They just say ineligible for funding, and then you have to appeal it, and then usually it gets passed.
So I have a question, and any of you can chime in on this too. Is there anything similar to this? Because this is on Craigslist, right? So if you put an ad up on Craigslist, let's say you're offering a room for rent, something like that, the next thing you know, you click on the thing and it says the thing has been banned or marked or something. And then when you try to get into it to find out why, it kind of just takes you to a bunch of Craigslist moderators. And what they'll tell you is that regular viewers who have clicked on the ad, they are the ones that flag it. So I'm wondering if it's just regular viewers on YouTube that are just flagging the videos for whatever reason.
What is an algorithm that selects them?
It's the two. I mean, sometimes you get haters flagging.
Mm-hmm.
My brother said that he had to sign in to view the Antifa video yesterday, which means that it probably did get flagged manually by somebody recently. Which makes sense because I've had this huge influx of baby boomer chuds coming in saying stupid things. So
just because if that's the case, so when I asked about the ad, I got all these comments coming back to me from some of the moderators, and they would say, don't put anything about yourself in the ad. Well, I'm like, I see ads all the time where it'll say, my wife and I and our 2 kids have a 4-bedroom house. We want to rent out a bedroom, blah, 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 blah. And so I put, Army vet, blah, 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 house, prefer no drinking or smoking, or whatever. And then they would come back and say, oh, yeah, don't put anything about yourself. Just put, about the place, I'm like, okay, so somebody saw that, and then they said that enough people have to flag it in order for it to be, shut down. And so I'm like, really? Or maybe it's just people that are trying to rent a room in the same area that are trying to flag it so that I can't, you know what I mean? But I was just wondering if there's anything like that similar to this, because that's really kind of messed up if you're running into this problem with almost, half of your stuff or whatever.
The girl I was seeing in high school had a job where she put signs out for people in certain designated places, and she got paid a tiny pittance for it. But there was a weird competition among the people who did it, where they destroy the signs put out by other people. Exactly the kind of thing we're talking about.
All right, everybody. So anyway, thanks for. I think I've addressed most of the comments. I'll go back through some of this later. But for the time being, thanks everybody. We're at time. We were going to cut this thing off at 5:00 our time, which it will be in 2 minutes. So. As I'm not monetized. I mean, I try, but it's just you don't get you get like fractions of pennies for all those views, and then I guess I haven't gotten enough fractions of pennies to add up to a whole penny yet. So when they demonetize me, it doesn't really feel like a lot. But I feel like Peter Coffin and Angie Speaks kind of have started trying to do this. They have an incubator thing to try to get more diversity onto BreadTube, right? And so especially like creators of color or aspiring creators of color, they're trying to they're talking about doing a charity stream to get some people equipped with microphones, cameras, stuff like that. I know that a couple of the Pixel Hipster and Suck My Opinion are a couple of the people they've discovered so far. So that's just an example of kind of the stuff you're all talking about. It seems like you're talking about doing something a little bit more routine, and it sounds like a really cool idea. And I think I would totally support something like that. So obviously, just let me know if there's ever something I can do to help. I imagine that all I could really do to help right now would be to hop in on somebody else's stream just to say hello and kind of signal boost it for a minute. If that's what you're talking about, then obviously that's something I would totally do.
Yeah, so does YouTube pay out at 100 as well?
Apparently, yeah.
I still have from my Google AdSense campaign from some years ago. I think I still have like either $19 or $31. So I was like, wait a minute, I need to do something to try to get this other $69 in so I can get paid. At least the money didn't disappear. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, apparently, maybe somewhere up the line, I've got like a little nest egg growing, and one of these days, $100 is going to come down the
change
pipes
your
from
life.
YouTube. It changed my life forever.
There you go.
Be able to afford barbecue.
That's what I say. It might be right at that time you're going out to eat.
Yeah, River says this is why so many people are switching to Twitch. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I do want to Twitch more once I have actual high-speed stuff. But.
So how often does Twitch pay out, or what denominations?
Well, you get tips from the people who are watching.
So you don't have to wait to reach a certain amount.
Ads.
If you paid for Prime, do you pay for Prime?
Amazon Prime? I have Amazon Prime.
If you have Amazon Prime and you're watching someone on Twitch, you have something you can give them. Like right now, anybody who is a YouTube premium person is able to, I think they have like up to $2 every month that they're able to just throw at a creator in a super chat. So someone, if you have that, do it. But on Twitch though, it's more, and they have that through Prime.
But what I mean is, for a person who has a Twitch account, like my son talks about playing video games and putting them up there, stuff like that, right? So let's just say somehow, whatever, clicking on the site, watching the videos, there was $8 that showed up in the account. Do they have to wait to get that $8, or do they? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
That's a Twitch question.
No, Damon might know if Damon's still in here.
The creators
but anyway, we're gonna go though. All right.
Cheers, tips, donations.
So it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, so it's kind of a complicated system, I think.
Until we find out, we won't know.
Should we create our own then?
A Twitch?
Our own
streaming service?
Yeah.
Like caffeine?
No.
Is that
we couldn't.
That's what RedTube needs to do. They need to start their own streaming.
Well, there is, there are, more co-op-ish, platforms for this kind of stuff. But the point of platform capitalism, if you watch my Boost video, the Facebook fail one, that the whole point is that the platform doesn't work unless it's a monopoly. So
because everybody has to be accessing it. So when you're
there's no point using a website other people aren't using when it comes to something like streaming services. Yeah,
they're only going to be watched by the people who are using it already.
What we need to do is collectivize Netflix and then get BreadTubers their own category that gets shown to people who are interested in anything interesting, and then that would be. Can we do that? Could that be? That's what the union should be doing. We need to have our own channel on Netflix.
Actually, that might not even be that crazy.
I know, yeah.
If you were producing something with Netflix, and then somebody on Netflix could just do the various shows from stuff like ContraPoints, for example, is huge.
Video essays, it's just like video essays should be its own genre on there. I could imagine that being something kind of like Audible's original content that they put out, where it's like, short stories and stuff like that just go straight to publication.
Indie games that you can download on Xbox, that kind of thing.
Yeah, why not? All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. I really appreciated it. Lively chat. I'll catch up with everything in there later. No promises, but I will try. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope everybody gets to eat today, and that if you do get to eat, that you get to eat good food. Because that's all I'm thinking about right now. And I hope you all get to as well.
Yeah, have a good evening. Make good choices.
make good food choices.
Just good choices, period.
True. Take care. Bye, everybody.